Hey, what's up, guys? Jay Martin here. So, today's story time was a very profound day for me in my childhood life. Very awakening day. It was the first time I got high when I was like 11, and I was way too high, alright? No 11-year-old should be walking around the streets being this knocked up in the brain. So, if you enjoy this story time, feel free to give this one a like and subscribe while you're at it. It's free, guys, and drop a comment. I'd love to connect with you. So this story time takes place back when I was in Form 1, which is the equivalent to grade 7. Had to check that one on Google. But yeah, it was the last day of Form 1 or grade 7 like I said, and my friends and I, we were like the 6 of us in total. We used to play basketball, and so we decided the last day of school we're going to hang out, play some ball, and then go swimming. Just an all-around fun day to hang out, right? Nothing too out of the ordinary by the sound of that. So I was with five other friends, and one thing to note about this one guy that we were with that day was he was older than the rest of us. Although we were in the same grade, he was like that student that kept on repeating the same level in school. And so he was like 16, I think, which at the time I thought was a superior age, like, whoa, a 16-year-old with us. And yeah, the rest of my friends were around 13, I'd say, at this time. But I was always the younger kid, right? I was always the young one, like the abnormally young one who was 2 years younger than all the other kids. And I don't know how that happened, by the way, okay? Like, when it came to school in terms of age, I was always supposed to be 2 years behind, but instead I was 2 years ahead. Anyways, that's nothing I'd actually complain about. If anything, I think it was an advantage. And I always thought that if I were to fail or repeat school twice, it would still be fine because of the age difference. All right, back to the story. I apologize, by the way. I tend to keep jumping around. So last day of school ends. We play some basketball and then we were just chilling at some park bench, right? It was just a really hot and scorching day, but I remember this so vividly. Like it was so hot, people were carrying umbrellas around. Anyways, that 16-year-old friend that I mentioned, he was a typical Chad type guy. Let's just call him Mike. So, in our friend group, we always knew Mike was the more influential one. He would always hang out with the older kids in our school because at one point they were his classmates, and yeah, pretty funny. He was our classmate then too. But safe to say, he was sort of the alpha, right? Just because he was one of the popular kids, people geared towards him a lot, and yeah, he was actually a decent guy. He was friends with everyone, but one thing about him was he was also a stoner. And at the time, I never really touched weed before. Now, I have to say, I first tried weed when I was 10. I took some puff at some party with some kids older than me, obviously, and I basically just blew it out. I didn't inhale it all the way to my diaphragm because I didn't want to get high for the first time with a group of people I didn't really know. Side note, don't do anything you don't want to do just because of peer pressure, alright? It's actually cool to be you. Like, don't put yourself in a situation where you say yes to something hesitantly. Anyways, this day was different because on this day, we were all having fun. I was with my friends, I was really close with all of them. And when we were just chilling at the bench, Mike all of a sudden gives out this grim smile to his face and he pulls out a joint out of his backpack. Now, we were out in public, we were out in the basketball court area, just sitting at the bench, and Mike says, Yo, look what I got for us today. And obviously, we were a bit astonished, like, okay, what about swimming later? And Mike said, We're going high. And then we were like, What about on the way to the pool? Because it was like a 30-minute walk there alongside a busy street. And he went, Yeah, we're going high. It's gonna be fine. And I remember looking at my other friends' faces because it was their first time as well, and they looked comfortable with it. So I was like, all right then. So we spark up the joint and they start to smoke it. And I was like, dude, there's people watching us. Like, is this okay? I mean, we were just some freaking kids and they just went at it obnoxiously while elderly people were walking by. So me being the paranoid one, I got my umbrella out and sort of used it to deflect other people's vision because, you're not supposed to do that. But it was cool. We played this little game. I'm not sure what the actual game was called, but anyways, we called it the train game or something. Basically, what it is that one person takes a hit, holds it in, and then passes it to the next person. And the rule is you can't exhale until you get the joint back. So we did that for a few rounds. The joint was finally done. And by the way, this is a gnarly game for beginners. So we finished the joint, and 5 minutes after, I shit you not, my mind was just in this crazy place, dude. And trust me when I say this, I've been on and off smoking from 11 to 15, something like that. And by the time I was 16 to 19, I was doing it every day. And for about 2 years, I was addicted to it. And I've never smoked anything as dank as this. I'm telling you, this bud got me so stoned that I couldn't walk properly. I'm not capping when I say this. If I could find out what strain this was, I would be so down to try it again just because it felt so incredibly psychoactive. I just feel like if I were to smoke it now with all my experience, it would be so interesting to know what thoughts I would have. I would probably be able to solve complex mathematical equations with this strain. But, anyways, I can't really explain how intense this feeling of high was. Seriously, nothing like it. But I remember making our way, walking to the pool, and all of our eyes were just blood red. And I don't know about my other friends. They looked like they were having fun, but I wasn't. I was just experiencing every single emotion possible. I thought everyone was staring at us. I thought everyone walking by were undercover cops. There was something truly terrifying about that moment. But in some instances, when I would calm down, I found beauty in it. But the fear would outshine the beauty in this one, man. Like, stepping into the pool was amazing, don't get me wrong. I felt an insane amount of gratitude, and I felt like I was a goldfish. And when I was swimming in the pool, I was playing dumb, opening my eyes and shit under the water, like, whoa, this is what a goldfish is like? But yeah, every single time strangers were close to us, I was paranoid. I was social distancing before it was even a thing. Come on now. But yeah, some moments really intensified my feelings towards certain emotions. Like my default feeling was paranoia. That was just there was no going around that feeling of that paranoia. But when I stepped into the water and I looked into the blue clear sky that day, there was an immense amount of gratitude and appreciation. Like, whoa, this is what life is actually like. And also, there was this diving board thing. And by the way, there's like 10 pools in this area. It was one of the biggest pools in town. And there was this section where there was this diving board and there were different levels. I believe there was a kiddie one, and then there was like a 10-foot one, and then there was a 15-foot one. Now, I don't care how tough you think you are, bro, but if you were high for the first time and you stood on top of the edge of that thing, it's scary, like absolutely scary. So yeah, it was fun and it was definitely one to remember. Obviously, the first time you try things, it's always memorable. And for one thing, I forgot to mention, this was stupid. But as we were in the changing room, I shit you not, I forgot how to change my damn clothes, man. Like I almost fell. I almost fell multiple times taking off my shorts and putting on my other shorts that I had. And I remember this one crazy thing. I remember telling my friends like, "Yo, I need a time off. Like, I need to take a piss." And while we were swimming, that happened, and I had to go to the toilet. But that was a lie. And I remember I just sat there in the changing room praying. I was praying for the high to go away. Cause I was getting too paranoid, and I was thinking, "Oh shit, what if my dad calls me? What if my mom calls me? Is this ever going to go away?" This strain, whatever the devil is in it, lasted for 8 hours. And the majority of it wasn't fun, I'm telling you. Some parts were beautiful, but it was mostly just me trying to cover up the fact that I was scared in the inside. So after swimming, we went to get some food, and the munchies were, oof, muy bien, very good, very good. So after we got some food, we went back to Mike's place, super exhausted. This was probably like 4 to 5 hours in, and I swear I was still high, super high. And then when we were at his place, we chilled at his rooftop, looked at the sky, and just listened to some music. This was the part when I actually felt calm because I felt safe. Anything that had to do with other human beings around and like the public got me paranoid. So at this point, it was all fun now, and they continued smoking some more. And you bet I wanted nothing to do with weed at the time. So they smoked. I was still high, so I didn't get any. And the last funny thing I remembered very clearly was Seeing a dog get high for the first time. Like, oh, that's new. So Mike had this dog, and his dog was this really loving and excited golden retriever, just curious to see what we were up to. And one thing's for sure, this dog got high when my friends were just messing with him, blowing a little bit of smoke at him. Now, I don't know if that's bad for the dog. Surely it won't kill the dog, but maybe the dog wasn't high. Maybe it was just me fascinated by looking at a creature with four legs and fur all around it. Man, what am I talking about? Anyways, that's pretty much it for the story, guys. I think this was somewhat of a long one. I'm not entirely sure, but if you stuck in with me to the end, let me know. Feel free to leave your story times down in the comments. I'd love to talk with you. Till then, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you on the next one. Peace and love.